slowing. He's coming. We tried to work it out 100 times. 99, it didn't work.
Same song again.
I think it's best we put it all behind before we wind up getting hurt. No hard feelings, darling,
No regrets.
no tears and no broken hearts. Call it quits, calling off all this. It just wasn't
In the car.
goodbye.
I do like that song. I don't know what my phone is. My phone is definitely Space Cowboy and lately. Could be because I was listening to Tanya Tucker Station the other day. Love me some Tanya. Funny, obsession. I was just thinking about how I dropped a stalker. I can always tell when I drop a stalker because my my subscriber count is so low. I can see it when it drops on both my profiles in the same night. I'm like, It's always nice though. It's nice when someone finally moves on. I'm not here to help people forever. That's not my job. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I was thinking about therapies, right? And therapies are meant to be lifestyles, right? Therapies are supposed to be stepping blocks, right? You're supposed to pick up what you need, learn some new skills, reprogram some things, and then you're supposed to move on. Unless it, like physical therapy. Physical therapy is supposed to be until you regain mobility, but you always have to have some practices that you will have to use and stretch and everything else every day. Yes, but eventually you shouldn't need that physical trainer to tell you every day. Gym things, your trainers at the gym, they're supposed to help you for a period of time. You're not supposed to be, at some point, you should be able to develop your own system to the madness. Right? And a lot of things that I've learned along the way is from doing therapies. Like I've been in therapy since one of my cousins died when I was like, 13, 14 years old. I've been in and out of therapy. My son's special needs. He's been in therapy since he was 3. And we've done a lot of therapies together there too. And what did they call it? A neurodivergent mind. But yeah, the therapies are they're supposed to be short term. You're supposed to take a new practice, do it for a while until you learn it, and then you're supposed to move on. So when you get into people who do readings and things like that, especially like the love readings, all right? And now a lot of people fall into that love reading hole, right? You're not supposed to stay in it. Granted, a great deal of people fall into it. You'll be hard and heavy for a few months on it. And then eventually you'll hit the point where you don't feel like you need the reader to tell you anymore. Right? Which is why a lot of readers are really repetitious. When I talk about other readers and things like that or anything else like that, I'm not downing them. Everybody has a very important part to play. They're all teaching something, but they're all teaching one piece of the puzzle. I'm not really here to do the romantic readings. I rarely, because I got the Zen Den this weekend, which is probably why I'm thinking about it a lot. I rarely get love readings at the Zen Den. That's not the kind of questions people ask me, right? Which is why I have a hard time doing them online. That's not really my forte. People don't like my approach to to relationship advice. And you want to know where my relationship advice came from? Therapy, marriage counseling. I actually took my first husband through marriage counseling to try and save our marriage at one point. So a lot of the advice I'm giving on that is basic. So yeah, it sounds a lot of cold-hearted and stuff like that. But healthy boundaries and things like that, those are not, you shouldn't have to fight for those. You shouldn't have to fight for those. Also, the people I deal with multiple dynamics. You know, I'll deal with a group of sisters. I'll deal with a mother and two daughters. I'll deal with, if I do a reading, it's a couple that comes in and wants a reading together. I deal with things like that. I deal with people going through spiritual awakenings and people who feel like they might need a soul retrieval, and people who feel like they astral travel in their dreams and they're saving other souls from dungeons. Kind of like, and I thought that was funny in that movie, Soul, where the guy is like, he's the sign spinner, but then he goes into the astral realms and he's like, we meet here every Tuesday and they save souls. I know people who genuinely feel like they've done that. I've genuinely felt like I've done that in dreams and things before too. So those are the levels that I work with and I deal with. And I deal with I deal with a different type of spiritual community. Right? The spiritual community I deal with is not all yogi, vegan. I mean, they're in there. But there's tons of shamans. There's people who deal with spirits and mediums and, you know, spell castings and protections and things like that. And, you know, we deal with a lot of that stuff. You know. The other question I keep getting is, if I don't want to be YouTube famous and I don't care about YouTube, then why am I still here? Because I make deals with the universe, right? I tell the universe, if you still want me to keep doing something, give me this sign. And if it gives me this sign, I keep doing it. And every time I've tested it on videos, I'm like, I'm going to stop doing videos unless this happens. Bam, it'll happen. So, and I keep my promises with the universe. Let's see what we got going on. (3D), we got the Three of Pentacles. In this deck, it's Three of Pentacles is usually teamwork and working with a team. This is definitely working with the spirit team and learning how to. I do see games being played. I love this deck because it has the canoe back there, which is also the same girl that is in the Six of Swords in this deck. So it's kind of like realizing what the games are and things like that and the manipulations and just getting over it, right? Just getting over it, moving through that rite of passage. I do see huge amounts of transformation in thought processes and how you speak to yourself and to others right now, really regaining some balance and really holding the healthy boundaries and holding your own light. Love that card in this deck. All right. For the 40, I see a ton of passion. I see messages that want to be sent. I see a lot of hope and renewal regarding love and soul connections, but there's still some shadow work that needs to be done. With this full moon in Virgo opposing literally everything in the sky right now. Like Virgo is like, the moon in Virgo is like all by itself on one side and everything else is on the other side of the sky right now. So there's a lot. Where'd you go? With the moon where it is right now, there's just a lot of deep inner introspection going on. And there's a lot of don't take huge action right now. There's not that don't take huge action. Take actions in areas like that you've been working on, that you've been planting seeds. Now is the time to plant seeds because all the planets are direct. But definitely, as you're planting those seeds, take inner stock on what it is you really want to do. You know, I've been thinking about that too. I'm like, why did this all get started? And then I finally remembered why it all got started. My initial plan was to just read online on Facebook long enough until I earned up enough money to buy everything that I needed and get the business licenses so that I could do fairs and carnivals. Didn't want to be internet-based. 4 years later, that was in 2017, with COVID and everything, you know, it's like, it's good that I didn't get stuck. I didn't invest in all that with nothing going on. But things are starting to take off. I got my second festival coming up next month. So, yeah. Six of Pentacles here on the 5D. Giving to receive. Right? When I do the festivals, they make a little money at them. I go around and I make sure that I spend a little money at them as well. Not till you give to, never give till you put yourself in detriment. But definitely give where you can. And give your energy. If you can't give money, give energy. You can help out. You can volunteer. There's lots of things you could be doing. You know, the world is open to you, even if you cannot see it. You just have to figure out what it is you're truly passionate about. What is illusion and what is reality? And then take control of it. All right. Wrong box. All right. So up here we got the obsession card. And to help you get past this obsession, remember what you promised yourself, right? New promise is not just promises to other people. What did you promise yourself? What did you promise yourself? What were some of the things you promised yourself? What did you promise yourself you would never tolerate? You know, a lot of people go through a lot of work and they go through a lot of shadow work to learn where they picked up toxic programming from their parents and how to overcome that. But at the same time, there were those lessons learned. I mean, even when you were little, I'm never going to be in a relationship where they act like that. You know, that was the key boundary point that was broken in my first marriage. I'll never be in a relationship that gets physical. That is something I learned from my family, right? The matriarch of my family, my grandmother's mother, was in an extremely abusive relationship. So that was a hardcore program we picked up, which I think is a healthy program you want to hold on to, right? You never want to pick up, you want to release programs that put yourself at detriment, but you definitely want to keep those programs that taught you healthy boundaries. What did you promise yourself? I promised myself, and a lot of women go through this, I promised myself that I went through this trauma. And I promised myself that I would never allow anybody to make me relive that trauma. And I know a lot of women who have gone through some similar situations with that, where they went through a trauma and they never want to go through that trauma again. But in today's day and age of, and it's, I'm going to go ahead and say it, it's sexual trauma, and they don't want to relive it again. And men will push and push and push and push and push and push because everybody's got to be a super freak. You know, keep your promises to yourself. And anybody who's trying to get you to make you do things that you don't want to do, kick them to the damn curb. Anybody who's willing, and you tell them a specific reason why you don't want to do a certain thing or a certain act or something like that, and they turn around and they're still like trying to wear you down on it, get rid of them. They don't give a fuck about you. Get rid of them. Tell your friends that too. What, that dude wants you to do things you don't want to do? Get rid of them. Keep your promises to yourself. There's nothing wrong with holding on to your integrity. Protection. Strong protective magic for the family and the home. Protect yourself. That is some of the most dangerous energy out there. It's people who will put you into detriment. People who want you to, I don't know, anything. Drive you to a shady neighborhood. Drive them to a shady neighborhood or do something unsafe or, break the law somehow or things like that. Don't let people break you of your values. That is a very important message I'm getting right now. Hold strong to your values and your morals. The festival creates an energetic blueprint for fantastic parties and events. Get rid of those who don't really care about your feelings and are using you. And once you get loose of those toxic binds, you will create an energetic pathway towards, fantastic parties or events. Like I said, I got my festivals coming up here. And I'm loving it. And I got the Zen Den this weekend. And I've got a whole soul tribe. I mean, the last 4 years, for all the ups and downs, man, the transformations have been amazing. As long as you've been embracing it and doing the actual work and figuring out where you pick up these toxic cycles, right? Nobody ever told you had to turn out exactly like your parents. No one told you that. And if you are turning out exactly like your parents and you're angry about that, then you need to figure out how you followed in their footsteps. And it's little things, like even with I'm not great at organizing and getting the house organized. So I end up doing this thing where I realize I fall into this pattern where I always start in the kitchen because I'll do breakfast and I'll start with cleaning the kitchen. And I'll end up that I never really make it past the front of the house back to the back of the house. But I find that if I start in the back of the house and work my way forward, then I land in the kitchen last and I end up actually getting more of the house done. Sometimes you need to break whatever pattern you're doing that does not work and recognize good patterns and bad patterns and hold your healthy values. All right. That's all I got for y'all today. Blessed be all those who walk these weird and windy paths with me. I love y'all, and I will try to be back tomorrow. I got my son's computer fixed, so I should be on a little bit more. Don't forget.